Hello, everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Eager podcast. Now, this intro is filmed after we have already recorded the first episode, and that's because I was very nervous and I couldn't think of a good intro. So we just thought to just go straight into it, and that'd be the best way to get this whole thing started. Just a little bit of a background of the whole podcast. I'm hoping to have friends every now and again, and I'm going to be interviewing them, getting their full life story, learning about their different beliefs and all their morals and all that fun stuff. We're going to really dive deep into people's character, and that's basically what these different episodes are going to consist of. This first episode is just sort of a testing the waters type thing, so it's not really that deep on anyone specifically. I hope you guys listen start to finish because it's a pretty decent episode, and I was surprised that we did so well for it being our first ever podcast. If you guys enjoy this, I hope you stick around and hit that subscribe button, and more episodes will come out pretty soon, so enjoy. Honestly, I want to know what you guys first thought of when I was like, yo, I want to do a podcast.
Dude, my idea, I don't know, because like right when you hit me up about it, like I had just started like listening to a bunch of different podcasts, so I was like totally down for it. Like I didn't know I didn't know when it was gonna happen or like how fast you were gonna like come out with it, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I was ready. I don't know, I thought it was a good idea, and I was thinking about it too. Like I don't know, I like talking to people and I like having conversations with people, especially because like if you just hang out with somebody, you're not really going to talk that much like about anything like too heavy, but some of those conversations can really benefit you.
Truth. Yeah, I mean, bro, as soon as you told me you wanted to do it, I was like, hell yeah, bro, let's get it. It's about time.
It is about time, because this has been an idea that has been coming for a very long time. I mean, me and Joey, I think, what was it called? Like Conspiracy Boys?
Yeah,
like that, we had a plan to do that back. Whoa, you must have still been a freshman when that idea came out.
Oh, freshman, sophomore, probably.
Man, we're finally fucking doing it.
Yep, dude. Don't you can't rush perfection. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know this shit's gonna be shit to begin with. Obviously, we're not speakers, we're not podcasters, we're just homies. That's all we are.
Dude. Yeah, that's why like most podcasts have like 2,000 episodes, because like it starts getting good around like the 1,000 episode mark. You know what I mean?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Nah, bro, we got this. Episode 3, let's get it.
We'll get there.
Third time's the charm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm hoping. Basically, I'm only hoping. I don't care about views right now, because obviously the less people that listen to this, the better to begin with. Because it's gonna be a little bit cringe, a little bit bad. But right now, I'm just hoping to like improve my speaking skills and hopefully I don't know, create like a little positive community. We can just talk about stuff.
You can't stress too much about like the outcome of it. You just kind of have to start. Yeah, that's what I learned. You know what I mean? If you worry too much about like how people are going to think about it and everything like that, then you're never going to start it, and it's just never going to get done, and you're never going to make any progress. So yeah,
I think
you just have to start doing it.
I think that's why like when me and Joy would have these ideas, we never really got going. It was just like, can we really do this shit?
Yeah.
Crazy. I think the real big thing is you just have to have ambitions with whatever you want to do. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
I have learned that basically anything is possible as long as you have enough willpower to do it, and you can really apply that to any situation.
That's so true.
It's really all about the law of attraction. You know
yeah. I've heard about that before, man. I love that.
Like anything, like if you truly believe something and you wake up every day and you believe it and you like work towards it, it's gonna happen. You know?
Yes, sir.
Like people hear like everything is possible and follow your dreams, and at first I used to be that's what everyone says, but it's really true. Yeah. You put in effort, like actual effort, and you stop being lazy, like shit happens.
Like I don't know, there's like the Jim Carrey story where he like, dude, and this actually reminded me of what Pau told us like the other day, how he said he's gonna write a check for $1 million and frame it. Yeah. Dude, that's what Jim Carrey literally, like in 1993, I think it was, he wrote a check for $10 million, and like this is when he was like starting out as an actor. Like he wasn't an actor yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or anything like that, and like he wrote it for 2 years, like Thanksgiving in 2 years, and like right before Thanksgiving 2 years later, he got like the job for Dumb and Dumber, and they wrote him a check for like $10 million. It was just crazy. Like it was the exact amount.
Damn.
Like it was the exact amount. Like that's just insane. But that's what I'm talking about, the law of attraction. Like I don't know, there's just something to be said about that.
Yeah, Pau is honestly like I didn't really get to talk to him much senior year, and he's changed so much from when I was
Dude,
really good
yeah.
friends with him. Like he's got a lot of things going for him, and he'll be
Yeah.
on the show. He'll be one of our first guests, definitely.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's gonna be awesome.
Us three, we known each other from a little place called Preble High School. Actually, I knew Luke from Edison,
Yeah.
but we all know each other from school. At one point, we all had this study hall class together. That was 4 years ago.
Dude, it's hard to call it. It's hard to call it a study hall because it was just
Nah.
in the cafeteria. Like
We
it
were
was basically
fucking
just
around.
lunch. It was basically just lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we were
like,
fucking
Lunch
around.
part 1.
It's been 4 years, and a lot has changed in our lives since then. So I want to start off with Joey. You're still at Preble. What has your life
Yeah.
been throughout these last 4 years?
It's just been crazy. It's been a whole lot of just figuring out who I am and trying to just put an identity in myself, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it works out. I feel like I don't really think you can like avoid that with time.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to be a better person. That's just
Good,
how
man.
it is.
I have a bit of
For sure.
a soft spot for Joey because I was really good friends with Max, your brother, and
hmm
I saw like when I first met Joey, I saw a lot of potential in him, and I remember this one moment where I saw Max's car in front of me and I followed them, and I don't know what the hell you guys were doing in the car, probably juuling or some shit, but I pulled Joey out of the car, this like 15-year-old kid, and I'm like, Joey, come on, man, why are you doing this shit? So I pulled him out of the car and I took him home. I don't know if you remember that, Joey.
Yeah, bro, it was bad.
Like, it's not obviously like maybe I overreacted or anything, but like you just have a lot of potential, and I feel like spending your time juuling
Nah,
was a
bro,
waste
that
of your
was
time.
that was a very critical moment. I'm really appreciating. I didn't appreciate what you did for me enough because I was just stupid. I don't know how I could ever really like let myself fall into that because nobody wants to like fall into that purposefully,
Oh,
but
Yeah.
then I just kind of got wrapped up into it and it was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens to most people in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, same shit happened to me. Like, but I don't know. There's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's better like to do it now, because there's a lot of people that spend their whole like college, you know what I'm saying, like just partying and drinking and like doing everything.
fair enough.
But like, I don't know. I think it's better to just get it out of the way and then you don't have to worry about it for a while. Like that's my mindset. Like right now, like 2021 for me is just gonna be about self-improvement, pretty
Yeah.
much. Because for me, the last 4 years have been kind of fucking crazy too. Like I don't know. Like I was in a really long relationship that was like really bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that finally ended in like April of last year, and then I had like 2 months to myself, and then I got into another relationship, and that's not a good idea because like I was in that first one for like 3 years.
Oh wow.
So like when you talk about like being alone, like that's really the only time you can like I don't know heal and like move on and stuff. So instead of doing that, I just got into like the easy way out, which is just another relationship.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? That so now it's just like then that finally ended like in like August of last year, I think. So now it's just been like self-improvement really, because I feel like I lost like touch with myself for the past 4 years or 5 years actually. So like now it's just kind of like time for me to wake up and like actually make something, you know what I mean? Like make something of myself. So yeah, the last like 5 months have been just dedicated to music for me, just making music and like improving as much as I can with that so that I can actually make it a reality. So
Yeah, and
that's what I've been up to.
You're doing really
Hell
good with
yeah.
that shit, man. Honestly, you sent me the tracks for the show, and I was like, this guy, like, he whipped that out in no time.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It was
man.
really
Like,
good.
Yeah, the only problem with me right now is obviously the vocals, and then just like getting over myself when I'm like trying to release something. Like I listen to it, like if I finish a track, I'll listen to it like a million times and like just listen for every little like imperfection. And if anything's wrong, like I just like it just like really demotivates me and like I don't want to release it, but I can't be doing that. I just got to like get it out there and then like just like because every song will be an improvement the way I look at it. So
Mhm.
and people like if people can't even see that I'm improving, like then nobody's even gonna know I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me is just like not worrying too much about like the content necessarily and just kind of like making something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just to start doing something. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, and I remember when you'd be posting those things on Instagram about like self-improvement, that hit
Mm-hmm.
me at a time where I was going through the same thing, and I had this like I wanted to reach out to you at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and then out of nowhere you reached out to me, and it feels kind of weird. It was like I felt like we both knew we were struggling
Yeah, dude, I could
somehow.
definitely tell. I could definitely tell.
But it's weird
Like,
because like I wasn't posting anything. Like I literally
dude,
I
yeah, I
went
know, but you
years without
posted like
posting.
maybe one thing or something that caught my eye, and I'm like, yeah, this dude's in the same position I am. And it's kind of easy to tell because like I don't know, like a lot of people, which is a good thing now, like with the internet and social media and everything, like there's a lot of good networks you can get into,
Hmm.
especially when you're like in this position. So like that's what I noticed. Like, and there's some other people too on my Instagram that be posting like those like quotes or whatever or like
Hmm.
self-improvement stuff, and it's like, yeah, like I can tell you're going through the same thing. So it's like I don't know, it's comforting to know that you're not the only one going through it, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And that's what I hope to do with this show is like touch a lot on mental health and especially
Yeah,
for us guys because there's like a stigma around that like if a guy talks about shit like that, he's like a pussy and there's a
yeah,
reason that the suicide rate for males is so much higher than that
yeah,
of
definitely.
females is because we don't talk about our problems.
Yeah, I don't
And
know,
That's true.
I
we
feel like at the same time touching on that too is like I feel like males and females go through a lot of the same feelings
hmm
of like, well for me, like when I first got out of the relationship, obviously like the feeling of like loneliness and like I'm gonna be alone forever. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that feeling, like male and female,
yeah.
which is crazy because if you like, I don't know, when I have that feeling, like I feel like women are so much like better than men for some reason. Just I put them on a pedestal in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it just deteriorates me. But I feel like women do the same thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's why like that's another thing I hope to achieve with this podcast is just kind of like know that we're kind of all the same when it comes to our thought process and our feelings.
Definitely.
So like, yeah, you can't really feel too alone when you're going through stuff like this.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so weird how I get I don't want to get into this conversation, but in a general sense,
Hmm.
it's just so whack how society has become so, I guess, ignorant
Yeah,
in a sense because we should be able to talk about all these different things. Everybody goes through different things and you can never really tell what somebody else is going through.
hmm.
But when it comes down to it, I suppose people just get so weird about it. And
Oh yeah.
I guess some people just kind of like live in their own little bubbles and they don't want to really acknowledge that other people go through worse, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gotta
especially
get
especially at our age. You know what I mean? Like for me, I feel like I don't know. It's just kind of weird, like seeing which people are really kind of like I would say evolving like into this mindset. So like obviously us three, and I see a couple other people on like Instagram, social media, whatever, that are like in this position of like improvement and just like almost like mental security, I would say,
hmm
because like there's a lot of people that are still like their mentality is that they're still in high school. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I know
definitely.
plenty of
Yeah,
people our age that are like that. You know, so it's weird to see how some people mature a lot faster, and like that's what's kind of like a wake up call for me is like there's probably like hundreds of other people in the world, like all ages, that would like have the same conversations. But like it's just kind of cool to see like who's actually becoming that person
Hmm.
and who's just kind of sticking to their old ways and not really, getting into it that much. But
You're right, man.
and I think a lot of it comes from like we were saying, mental health. Like when people go through these problems, they have to find a solution to them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Some people like I don't know. There's some people that go through these problems and then it's almost like they don't seek a solution. Like instead they just like accept it and just kind of like sink into it, which I think is like really dangerous, especially if you don't have that many people to talk to about it, you know what I mean? Because then that's really when you start isolating and like, just all those bad things start happening. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting to see how many people are actually like getting more philosophical and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
point you bring up because some people, yeah, they deal with it in different ways. Some people go to what's it called, substances like
mhm,
alcohol, drugs, and stuff like that. Which at first I used to be so against, and I'd be like, why do you do that? But now I fully understand why people choose to do these things because they
mhm.
have like these issues that are in their head, and the only way they're fine and they feel okay is when they don't feel at all, and that's what
Yeah,
these things do.
absolutely. Yeah, that's I went through a whole period with that too, substances and stuff. But um, yeah, I'm trying to fix that all right now. Just kind of get out of that. It's almost like a trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like takes all your money, takes all your time. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
really worth it. Like every now and then, it's like, yeah, okay. If it's a celebration or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like for me, I pretty much had to be like high all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't even know if you guys know this about me, but because I don't know, I kind of didn't tell that many people, but like, yeah, I used to like smoke weed all the time. Like, just I couldn't be in my normal mental state
Mm-hmm.
because it was horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, and like, yeah, that was the only thing that made it better, really. And I didn't realize it either. I just thought I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like, I was like, oh, this isn't hurting me at all. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing it because it makes me feel better. But then what you don't realize is once you stop doing it, like, it makes you feel worse, like, way worse.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
that was the problem for me is, like, that was kinda, like, when I opened my eyes a little bit and was like, "This isn't really a good idea. This isn't making me." Because it's almost like it helps you accept the state that you're in.
Yeah.
So, like, when I'm in my normal, like, sober, like, I don't know what you wanna call it, but just my normal mind, like, I didn't wanna accept anything. Like, I was just so frustrated with everything, like, and I wanted so much more. But then I felt like I couldn't do anything to, like, get out of it, and instead of working on that, I just escaped it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then you just be sitting there, like, and you're just accepting the state that you're in, but which isn't really a good thing, you know what I mean? Eh, I don't know. Everything is, like, it has its pros and cons, but it's definitely not a good thing to accept, like, what's worse for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, you should always seek what's uncomfortable because that's what's gonna make you grow as a person.
There's this
That's
good little quote called "Seek Discomfort" from this YouTube channel called Yes
Mhm.
Theory, and I've always like aligned myself
I
with
love that channel.
yeah, they're so I just discovered, like, I knew about them before, but I just started watching them
Mhm.
recently, like fully. I went through like a whole binge watch through their videos, and I really love their message, and it's kind of like the same message that I want to have on here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I look up to too. I've been watching a lot of that too, and like the Jocko Willink podcast. I don't know if you know Jocko Willink, but he's like a Navy SEAL, or he was, and like I don't know, he has a lot of good advice,
Hmm.
like just as a person. You know what I mean? And weird, you think like a lot of people coming out of the military, especially like a Navy SEAL for that many years, you'd think they'd just be wired like in this mindset of just like like black and white. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's either this or that. But no, he's like really, I don't know, he's just really wise, and I think that's something to look up to. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely check that out. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
yo.
Joe Rogan is a little more crazy,
Yeah.
but I like Joe Rogan,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a very open-minded guy. He'll take any
Yeah, definitely.
concepts.
Yeah, I think that's like I don't know. That's step 1 is to be open-minded,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think that's all of us are open-minded, obviously,
Hmm.
and, like, all these people that are trying to, like, better themselves are very open-minded, and I think that's, like, the first step. Because if you're ignorant and, like you know what I mean? Like, you're not
Yeah,
gonna, "Oh, why do I need to improve myself? I'm already fine." You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, but I think there's always room for improvement, like, in
definitely,
every aspect.
definitely.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, I've helped a lot of people, but seriously, there's one way that you can help a lot of people. If
Mhm.
you can help people realize that the first step in solving a problem is understanding that there is a problem,
Yeah, definitely.
it really does help.
Oh, poetic from Joey.
I mean, it's crazy because a lot of people feel hopeless in situations where, you know, there's always hope, I feel like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your true sense of self-identity is gone. And even in that sense, it's entirely still possible. But I never really feel like it's too far to get some help, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is like it's all about perspective, you know? If you're in that position and you're seeing it from like a point of view, like first person, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like it's really easy to feel trapped and like there's no way out because you don't see the solutions. But there is like plenty of solutions, you know? And I think
Yeah.
that's another thing I want to accomplish with this podcast because there's a lot of people out there that are just sitting like especially now with COVID and everything, just in their house like alone, just like all this time with themselves and they're kind of realizing that they're not happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this COVID thing is like going to turn that around for some people or make it worse. I hope it'll turn it around because I don't know. If I could help everybody in the world, obviously that's what I would do, but you know, you just kind of have to like take it day by day, especially for these people, you know what I mean? And like Joey said, there's never a reason to give up 100% hope.
Definitely not.
I think it's really humbling to realize that cuz like I don't know, if you were like alone, like if you didn't even have a house or anything, like I don't know, I feel like a lot of those people never give up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to me, like that I don't know, that would be the time that I contemplate like suicide the most is if I don't have a house, I don't have like any money or anything. So then when I'm sitting here like in a house like with all this like I don't know, I have a good amount of money like saved up. I have job like I can get a job like and to think like cuz sometimes I do fall into that mindset where it's like giving up hope, especially like the last year like has been really rough. So like I did fall into that mindset a lot, but it's just kind of humbling to know like if I had nothing, I feel like I would still be trying as hard as I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hell
So,
yeah.
I think some of us we forget like how blessed we really are, and
yeah.
we forget about all the stuff we have, and I think COVID had an effect on that. We
Mhm.
looked, it made us stay home, and it made us realize. I mean, like, damn, there's people that are losing their jobs and becoming
Yeah.
homeless off the back of this, and even though I'm in this little tiny fucking 5x5 closet of a room, I still like I have a roof over my head, and
Yeah.
I have a
Food, you know
job.
what I
I
mean?
can eat if I want to. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very blessed to be
There's so
around.
many things to be grateful for that it's just
Definitely.
like I don't know, that's another thing, gratefulness is like if you're really like in this bad position, bad state of mind that's just damaging yourself and people around you, like just try to be grateful for everything. Like literally anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I woke up today, I'm grateful. You know what I mean? Like I
Definitely.
can take a shower. I just took a shower. I feel so good. I'm grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it really helps to have that mindset because then you start seeing like the positives in life. You know what I mean? Because you can like once you realize that you could have nothing, like then you start to see like okay, maybe my life isn't that bad. Like, and that's why a lot of times people say it's all in your head, and it really is. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like it's all about the mindset, and it's not the people's fault. You know what I mean? Like if like I know my mind gets the better of me like pretty much all the time, you know what I mean? So like it's all about learning how to control it and how to like I don't know, just really control it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like discipline is
Mhm.
another good word.
Definitely.
Yeah, just knowing how to control it and like knowing how to make yourself happy is two really strong things that you can learn how to do.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I see with a lot of people is it seems like the majority of the population just kind of relies on other people for happiness. And
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
it's really wild to see that, but like honestly, like if you look at some of your friends, you will notice it because
Mhm.
it's just like a really prominent thing that's there, but people really shouldn't do that, you know? You should be able to control your own happiness cuz
For
I
sure.
mean, at the end of the day, it's not like we are alone because people are always around, but you know, it is you. You should be able
Yeah.
to rely on yourself without having to have that outside force, you know?
Yeah,
It's a really good point to
that's
bring
been
up.
yeah, that's been huge for me. That's been absolutely huge for me cuz like that's what I realized coming out of like spending 5 years in like any relationship, like even two relationships, spending 5 years in like I don't know, you just kind of depend on somebody. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like habit. Well, for me anyway, because like I found out I was pretty codependent, which is what we're talking about right now, where it's like you depend on other people.
Yeah.
Like, and so is my partner too, my ex. She was really codependent, so it's just kind of like a bad, like they call it a trauma bond. I learned that term. It's like when you both can't be happy alone, so you just kind of like feed off of each other for happiness. But then that sucks because eventually like that runs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then neither of you are happy, and neither of you know what to do to fix it, and like you just kind of feel stuck. So I don't know. That's yeah, definitely what Joey said is a huge factor in like mental health. It's just being like alone with yourself and like being okay with that, you know? Like it's okay to be single. It's okay, like you're not any less, like your worth isn't any less just because you're single. Like that was important for me to realize.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really important to be okay with yourself, okay being
mhm,
alone. And a lot of people can't deal with that. A lot of people, when they're alone, they start to overthink stuff. They start to get in this mindset that is really unhealthy.
Yeah.
And that comes from being really dependent on other people for your happiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't really want to like throw down my opinions, but I believe that as an individual, your body is basically a temple, and you should be able to apply to the needs and make yourself happy.
Mhm.
It's really something that it can take time, and it definitely takes a lot of lessons that you have to learn,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, you really do come out a better person, and it's just important to keep in mind that it's always going to get better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like there's a lot to be said about taking care of yourself and your body especially, you know? Like I don't know, working out, that's one way I know I can make myself like I can improve my mindset if I just work out for like a half hour, that's all it takes. And I
Mhm.
feel better, you know what I mean? So a lot of times it's just getting that discipline to actually do it, you know what I mean? So that's another thing for me this year is like I'm trying to work out every day because I know like I just know it's going to improve my mental state. So if I know it's going to, I'm going to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really
Like
does. Working out is one of the best things you can do for self
yeah.
improvement. I was in such a shit state mentally, and I always heard from people, work out, it makes you feel better. I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, me
Since I've
too.
been going, like, holy shit, it really, like, it honestly is the difference between me having a bad day or a good day is if whether or not
Mhm.
made the decision to get up and go to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where that discipline comes in because like you know when you don't do something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I wake up and I spend the whole day like watching Netflix or something, like I feel shitty the whole day.
Your
And then I
body
go to bed
knows.
and I wake up the next day feeling shitty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if I like maybe I have some projects I'm working on, maybe this or that. Like if I wake up and I get started on those things, like I feel so much better. Especially like if you get started right in the morning, like it just sets you up for a good day. Cause like then you already started, you know what I mean? So once you start, it just gets easier as the day goes on.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
the biggest thing is just getting out of bed in the morning, you know? Like when your alarm goes off the first time, try to get up. Like it'll help you a lot. I don't
Don't
know.
snooze.
These are all things I've learned. Yeah.
Yeah, I think routine is definitely important in the human mind. I'm not sure exactly what I read, but I read something the other day where it was like a lot of people are just losing track of themselves because they don't keep a routine. And
Hmm.
it's definitely something that I think it's true that the human mind is based off routine, and that's really how we function and
Yeah.
how we're like at
Oh
our
yeah.
most efficient. But COVID really just took that out of us, and I don't really think it's good to put excuses onto situations, but
I mean, it's a
it's
worldwide pandemic.
yeah,
It's a pretty
Yeah.
good
you can't
excuse.
really avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was gonna say something. I can't
It's a
remember.
really good point, Joy, because routine is something that dropped out of my life when I moved to my apartment in Stevens Point for college.
Hmm.
I stopped working out. I was working out in the summer before school, and I stopped completely working out. I would get up late as hell, go to class, and come back and take a nap. That was my routine. And
Mhm.
like when I'd wake up, work for a bit, and I just completely lost track of myself. Like I was forgetting to do stuff like brushing my teeth and like
Yeah.
simple stuff like that. And I started to notice stuff like that. I was like, okay, I need to get this routine going again. Otherwise, like I'm just gonna lose who I am.
Yeah, I feel like that was a problem for a lot of people because, like, I feel like their routine was just going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like wake up, eat breakfast, do whatever, like morning routine, like maybe shower, brush your teeth, whatever, but then go to work. And then once you get home, like, I don't know, it depends if you have kids, obviously, and all of that stuff. But like, for like, I feel like just people in their 20s or like single people in their 20s, whatever, once they get home, they just like, they don't know what to do with themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and then once COVID hit, like, they didn't have that routine of, okay, I got to get up, I got to do this to go to work. Like they didn't have any of those reasons. So it's just kind of like I feel like keeping like a personal daily routine is very important, like Joey was
100%.
saying. Yeah, so I was just going to say like I don't know, I think hobbies are super important. Like the more
Mm-hmm.
hobbies you can have, like especially like I don't know, I know Joey you want to start this business or whatever. I don't that's all I heard about it so far. But and Edgar, you got a lot going on too with the podcast and everything else
Yeah,
and me music and everything. So it's kind of cool. Like working on like doing this podcast basically is gonna help me a lot with music too. Just because any doing like creating anything is gonna help your creativity a lot. So like I also got a camera. Like I like taking pictures and like photography. I love doing that. So anything like that, like using that part of your brain really improves your mental state too. Like it really helps with all of that.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah, go ahead.
friend reach out to me, and I asked her like, how do you get out of a rut, basically, and she's like, you have to take time to do things you love, and if that's not enough, you can even look to just start other hobbies that you've been interested in doing.
Hmm.
So I really dove into doing like the ninja stuff that you guys see on my Instagram. Like that shit
Yeah.
back in the day when I started doing that, I would go crazy. Like I did competitions. I got second place in one of them. I was really good at that stuff. And when I went into college, I just never did that ever again. I lost all my
Yep.
strength, and it
Hmm.
was kind of depressing because they used to call me like a prodigy of because it's a sport,
Yeah.
and they were just like, wow, like this kid's could be something. And it's kind of sad that I dropped off doing that, but it's coming back, it honestly helped me out so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like with you, you moved pretty far away for college.
Yeah,
So it's kind of that's why I don't know, you can forgive yourself a little bit for just having that routine of just, going to class and then coming back, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a whole lot that you knew like I don't know, it's just an uncomfortable environment when you're in a new city. I've never even experienced that, but I was going to move to Milwaukee this year, but then I decided to like go to school up here first and then move down there. But
oh, okay.
yeah. But anyway, I don't know. It's good and bad at the same time. But I think what you could do is, I bet you there's like a gym up there somewhere that does stuff like that. And I feel
It's a
like,
small town, and I
oh,
have
is
looked
it?
into that, and there's only just a regular Planet Fitness over there, which I will be going
Oh,
to.
Dang.
yeah.
But it's a really small. That's the thing about it. Like it's a nice small town, but
Hmm.
there's just not much. I guess if you go out looking, there is stuff to do, but not really stuff that calls on my name. Really, there's just a shit ton of bars for the main
Yeah.
part.
I mean, that's pretty much Wisconsin though,
Fair
too. You know what I
enough,
mean? Like Green Bay is like you go down Main Street, there's like six auto
bruh.
stores or like auto shops, and then like
Autobot.
four bars. You know what I mean? It's like kind of, it's like there's really nothing to do.
I
But
have to. I have stories when we do the interview with Moses that will come out of stupid things that
hmm
we've done in Green Bay. In Green Bay, there is nothing to do really, but if you go looking for for
yeah,
crazy shit to
if you're
do,
like that desperate, you can find something.
and that's yeah, me and him
Yo.
have done some insane things that I can't believe we're still alive and have not been arrested, and those things will come out in that episode. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Oh, yo, there's like what 30 some bars on that one just one main road downtown.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
And
honestly.
like that's just on one side of the river. It's
there's no
bad.
way they all get like good business. So,
I know.
No, they
Okay.
do. That's the thing though. They like people will go as a group, they go to one bar and they're like, all right, we're done here. Let's go to the next one. So they go to the next one and they're like, all right,
Bar
we're done here. Let's go to
hopping?
the next. Yeah, bar hopping, man. It's a huge thing here. Like, if you're ever downtown on a weekend, like for any
Oh.
reason, have you ever seen that like fucking the booze cruise thing? Where they
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
ride
that thing's so
around that fucking
stupid.
thing,
I almost
and they're
hit-
all just screaming, and they're like, it's a bunch of like drunk people just screaming on like this giant like
I wanted to hit
two-seater
them
bike,
so hard.
basically.
I wanted to just ram into them.
It's like a 16 like seater bike is really all it is.
So
And it's just a bunch of drunk people and like one guy driving it, just honking the horn, everybody's screaming. It's like, dude, that does not look fun. I'm sorry. Like, I would hate to be that. That looks like a punishment, dude.
Honestly, like I don't drink. I don't drink, and I don't think I ever really will get into like the hobby of drinking. But that whole like bar scene and like that crazy lifestyle, like it's interesting, but I don't know if I want to be a part of it. Really,
Yeah, absolutely.
it is
Me too.
very. It's fun to look at from the outside. I'll say that.
It's crazy.
Oh my god. Honestly, that would be a punishment for me. I swear to God. It's like, all right, you have to get really, really drunk and then ride around the city on a fucking tricycle.
I'd throw up.
Like,
Uh,
dude, me too. I would like,
welcome
know.
to fucking Wisconsin, guys. Jesus.
yeah.
I don't
honestly.
understand it. They really made alcoholism a sport. Like,
Yeah. It's
there's
so-
no other
A
way.
hobby, yeah, a hobby, dude. I don't know.
Oh god.
It's like I don't like drinking at all. That's
First, my
take on it.
tummy, yo.
Yeah, me too.
I never really had. I mean, the only experience I had with drinking was unintentional. I was helping my sister film this music video, and it was
Mhm.
at this like haunted house place. It was a really cool music video. It was like a kind of like a Halloween scary.
I
Style.
remember that, dude.
Yeah, and they were handing out these syringes that had Jello shots.
No.
I thought it was just Jello, and also they were
No.
handing it straight to me. I was like 16. I don't look
Damn.
like I don't look like I'm old enough to drink, and they handed it to me, and I took one, and I couldn't taste the alcohol because it was so sweet. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's pretty good, and they just one after the other just kept coming, and then I started like I couldn't even walk straight for the better part of the rest of the shoot, and I was like,
Dude, that's a bad introduction, bro. That's
I was
a
like,
bad
what's
introduction.
going on? And then my sister's like, that's like alcohol. And I'm like, oh my fucking god. Right. Luckily, right after like I got some food and I felt a little bit
Oh,
better.
yeah.
And then I got home and I was laying on my bed looking straight up, and it
Yup.
just it felt awful, and I almost threw up, and I never want to go near alcohol ever again.
Dude, that's like an
Terrible.
absolutely horrible introduction.
Oh.
I must say.
I thought I was just
I
getting a
have a-
nice Jello treat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, I don't know. I don't like drinking that much. Like, if my friends get together and like we want to just do something, maybe I'll drink. Like, I'll have whatever, I'll drink. But I won't drink like by myself ever, or I won't drink like on like any kind of just normal day, because I don't like drinking. Like,
Mhm.
I like being drunk, but I don't like drinking. So it's like kind of like it's not worth it to drink to get drunk for me. Like, it's not that good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know. I have one friend that doesn't drink because like when he was 15, he was at like a quinceañera, bro,
Oh no.
and like he went outside because it was hot as fuck in there, so he just went outside to get some air or whatever. Some drunk dude thought he was someone else and tried to stab him, and like he like knocked him, or like my friend knocked him out.
Oh.
And like I'm like, he's like, yeah, so I don't want to drink, bro. Like that shit, like I don't
It's
want to
so
be like that
fucked.
guy.
It's so
I'm
fucked.
like, yeah, I understand, bro.
We had a guy. There was a guy. So this is in Stevens Point, and we were just sitting outside of the house with some friends, and this drunk guy walks up to us holding this big ass like board of like wood. I don't know. I think it was like one of those like road block things, and he's holding it. It's twice the height of him, so he looks really awkward holding this thing. And he walks up to us, and he drops it, and he goes like nothing he was saying was. You could not make out anything he was saying. He was just. I don't know if he was drunk or if it was drugs or anything, but he was completely fucked up. And then police came by and he like ran away. It was just awful. I never want to be in that state. That guy did not make any sense. Barely human.
It's terrible. I don't really know what my whole deal is, but with all of my experimenting, I found that I can handle substances pretty well, but it's just weird because all of these times that I drank alcohol and I thought I was having a really good time, I wake up and I can never remember it. It's like, okay,
Oh my god.
what's the payoff,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I missed the last 2 stories because my internet cut out, but I'm back.
All good.
I heard the last bit of you, Joey, and yeah, I don't know. That sucks too when you wake up and you're like, dude, what did I do last night? Like, what
That's the thing.
happened?
I never want to have that. Like,
It's weird
I'm
too,
scared
'cause-
of like mentally like losing myself doing that stuff.
Yeah. I don't okay. The one thing that scares me as a person is depersonalization. I don't
Yeah.
like all these mental disorders where it's like people live as themselves but with different personalities and stuff like that.
Oh,
Mhm.
Like that terrifies me.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I want to never want to be in a situation like that, but just not being in control of yourself isn't something that I want to experience or
yeah,
even have to.
Definitely.
yeah,
And
definitely.
substances totally just kind of like strip that down, and they kind of like get rid of that boundary and like erase that like feeling between reality and not reality,
Yeah,
Drug-
it's really weird.
drugs are
It's really
bad.
weird because it completely like no matter what you're doing, it completely alters your mind and like your whole mental state shifts.
Hmm.
Like it's a lot less like intense with like drinking or like smoking weed or whatever, but like once you get into psychedelics and stuff like that really messes with your head.
That's just scary to me. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
It's not
hate-
worth it in my opinion.
oh, God.
Absolutely. I hate that I had such an early introduction to Joe Rogan because I was all like,
Him
wow,
with the DMT
what is
shit.
this stuff?
Like the only
Yeah,
reason, like the only
I don't know.
curiosity I have towards that is when Joe Rogan talked about like DMT and all these fucking like alien, fucking
Dude, honestly, like
intergalactical alien things.
he was DMT just makes you hallucinate a lot.
Oh,
So
that's
when this dude was high as fuck on DMT and like seeing all this shit, he was probably just hallucinating like insanely hard. Like I don't know. I've done like mushrooms and stuff, and like I didn't see any aliens. I didn't talk to any aliens or anything like that, but like I definitely hallucinated. So I don't know.
What do you see? Like,
Honestly, the first time I did it, I didn't do enough, so I kind of like had the altered mind state, but I didn't see anything. There was no like visuals.
mhm.
The next time I did it, I did like five
Oh,
grams.
no.
So the first time it was like 1 gram or something, or
Oh,
1.5 or
shit.
something. The second time was 5. So I was just in my room and like I don't know, everything has a trail and stuff. So like when you move your hand across your face, like you can see it like a couple of times.
Oh,
Like it's like when you turn on that like cursor thing on the computer that has
Yeah,
a trail.
yeah.
It's like that, but everything.
Fuck that.
It was kind of cool, but at the same time it was kind of weird. But then the thing that nobody tells you about it is like it really makes you like so once that's like I was trying to play like some video games with my friends and like I couldn't play because I couldn't see. Like I was playing COD and I couldn't see anything. Like I don't know, I
Oh,
couldn't see anything because like everything was just all like fucking like moving and shit.
yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna lay here on my couch because I can't see anything. So then I was just laying there and like, dude, that's like it's scary. It's actually scary because like
Fucking hell.
you just get into your head, bro. Like you can't get out of your head. And like once you start coming down from it, like, dude, I had like a whole mental breakdown, like on the fucking PS4 party chat, bro.
Oh no.
Like we were just chilling in there and I was just fucking like, damn, like every problem I had in my whole life just hit me at once, bro. And I was just laying on the
Yeah.
couch like I felt like there was no reason to live anymore, bro. It was just the most intense like depression I've ever felt, dude. It was the worst feeling ever. So that was the second time I did it. The third time I did
Third.
it, I
Oh
was
my
at
God.
no. The third time I did it, I was at a mall.
No.
Oh,
Dude.
I don't know why I had this idea, but I was hanging out with my friend, and I'm like, dude, you got some acid or something? Let's do some acid because we rode there with somebody, so we're like, fuck it, we'd never have a time to do it. Let's just do it right now. He's like, I don't have acid, but I have shrooms. I'm like, fuck, and it's those like syringes, you know what I mean? It's
God
like that Jello shot,
Oh.
but it's like for shrooms. It's like honey.
all right.
So,
So it's a
you know,
it's like a
I know you know what
liquid.
I'm talking about, Joey.
Yeah,
I know you know what I'm talking about.
I'm over
I
here
just
lost
wanna-
as fuck.
I want to explain this real quick for
Yes.
you and just the audience, I suppose. But there is a lot of substances, both marijuana included, where if you actually isolate the compounds and match it with something that's like fatty or like just has, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there's certain combinations that just make substances more potent, and they like hit you harder, or it'll just end up like giving you a better trip in this sense. So like it's just a way for people to extract substances into something more pure.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in this sense, it's a syringe full of honey.
Okay.
So here's the backstory, right? So we go to Appleton, to the mall, the good mall in Appleton.
Big
you know
ass
what I mean?
mall.
It's way better than the Bay Park Square Mall.
Yeah.
So we're there, we have that idea. Keep in mind, we were gonna eat. We didn't eat, so I had nothing to eat the whole day. Like
Ooh.
that was the worst. That was number one, the worst thing I could have done. So then, yeah, so we eat the whole syringe, right? 5 grams each. So we each take 5 grams of shrooms, and we're chilling with our friends just in the mall. Dude, that when I tell you that shit hit me as soon as I swallowed, like, dude, I swallowed and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like my hands started sweating, dude. Like I started like shaking. I'm like, oh shit. So then I'm like, I just gotta sit down for a second. So we sit down and like my friend's fine. He's fine. I don't know why, but he's just fine. And I'm like, I start freaking out because like I have social anxiety like to begin with. Like even like in a mall, like I kind of freak out a little bit. Dude, like, oh my god, I had to like run out the fucking place. Like once that shit started hitting me, like I couldn't breathe and I felt like I was gonna pass out. Like it was the most intense thing ever. Like literally, like I couldn't see anything. Like when you like stop breathing or whatever, like if you get really lightheaded or like really winded and you can't see because your eyes just like shut off for some reason.
Yes.
Like that's what happened to me as we were just walking around in the mall. And like we had our masks on and shit, so I'm like, bro, I can't breathe. Like what the fuck is going on? So then, so we just walk out the place, and I should have felt like I was gonna pass out the whole time we were walking. And then we finally get back to the car, and dude, like, that was horrible, bro. Like I couldn't see. I literally could not see. Like the visuals were so intense that I couldn't see anything. Like I opened my eyes, and it was just a blur of colors. Like we're sitting in the car, and it was like a tan car, and all I could see was tan. Like the whole, like everything was just tan. So I'm like, fuck, I just gotta close my eyes. I closed my eyes. And like I saw the most intense like patterns and shit, like just when I closed my eyes, and then all of a sudden like I just saw worms. That's it. I could only see worms.
Damn.
So like I don't know. It was just intense, bro.
Oh god, I'm glad you have these experiences.
So that was the third and final time I did shrooms, but yeah, that was crazy. I don't know why I did it, but it wasn't worth it, basically.
I'd love to share some of my experiences, but I don't know. I feel like I should probably do that at a later point.
We should do a drug episode, honestly.
Probably, bro.
This is basically a drug episode already.
Yeah, like my whole thing is like I don't want to share those experiences in a sense of like, oh, look at me, I'm so fucking edgy, I've done this shit. Because I have a lot of experiences and I do regret a lot of the things that I've done. I've got to be honest. But I want to provide them in a sense for people to learn,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know, because everything I heard about mushrooms was, oh, you see shit, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
cool.
what I've heard too.
You know what I mean? But
Like,
they don't tell you about the
prepares you for
psychedelic
that,
aspect.
bro.
Yeah, they don't tell you about the mental like aspect of it, where you just fucking like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I've done it though, like I've had that intense depression on the come down.
Wow.
Dude, acid, when I did acid I only did it once, but like, dude, the whole time I just felt like there's no point in living. Like, and it was not like, it wasn't just a feeling, it was like a fucking like belief almost.
That's scary.
Like I could feel it in my chest that there's just no point to life. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not what I fucking signed up for.
That's fucking scary.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like done with all that stuff now. Like I had my experiences with it. I'm not gonna say they were good or bad.
Yeah.
They were just experiences. So
I think it's good to have those experiences if you're curious about that sort of stuff, and you find out from that it's not something you really want to do. I mean, for me, I've never really been curious about that stuff. It's not like I grew up in like a strict household or anything. It never called my name, and I never felt curious towards drugs at all, so I never ended up trying them.
Hell yeah. I just want to put it out there to anybody who could be possibly watching this. If you are interested in dabbling with psychedelics, I entirely recommend waiting until you're at least 25. At that point, your brain is like almost fully developed, if not fully developed, and it's a lot more. I don't want to say it's a lot less of a chance that a underlying mental disorder could come out, but it's definitely a lot better for you to wait till your brain is developed for you
Yeah.
to have those experiences. It's
And
definitely
like,
not something you want to rush because you never really get that back.
Good point.
yeah, like I don't know, like with weed, with drinking, it's a little bit different. It's not as intense, it's not as severe, but you can't go into the psychedelic world with that mindset that it's just like drinking or just like weed or something like that, because it's really not. It's a whole other thing. Like if you're not in a good place mentally, like it's just going to amplify it like times 10.
Oh,
So don't, yeah, I wouldn't mess with it, especially like if you're in a bad, like if you're not completely like mentally stable and like everything in your life is perfect or like as good, like you know what I mean, good enough
Yeah.
for you. It's just a bad idea in my opinion. That's just my opinion though.
just be responsible,
definitely-
be safe.
Yeah.
No,
What is something whatever Dare says? Dare's got some pretty good slogans.
Listen
like,
to Dare.
I don't know if I really agree with the premise because they're kind of all like anti.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think it's important to at least have knowledge of it because, if you show up at a party sometime and some dude's just tweaking off the mushrooms and nobody else has any idea what's going on, but you have some general consensus and you're able to maybe calm him down or something like that,
Mhm.
it's definitely something that you never really know that you need until you need it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, the only reason I did it was for an experience. I just wanted to see what it was like. Like I don't know. I was just like, well, I could either live my whole life without it, or I could just see what it's like, and if I like it, then I like it. If I don't, I don't. So that was my mindset going into it. But
Fair enough.
yeah, I don't regret it, but I'm not. It's not like I'm proud of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just something that happened to me, or something that I chose to do.
For sure.
But even with like everything else too, drinking and substances, like I'm gonna bring up that word again, discipline, because you got to know how to control it. You can't get too crazy with it. Like there's definitely people that just go completely like out of control. And I know a couple people, I don't know, you guys probably do too, but like maybe they're, constantly like smoking or constantly drinking or whatever, but
Mhm.
it's not a good look, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I entirely agree with that. I don't want to sit here and be like, don't smoke weed, don't do this, don't do that,
Yeah.
because, I'm the last person to speak. Truly.
Yeah, me too,
But,
me too.
I just want to put that key word out there, moderation. It's
Absolutely.
there for a reason. If you don't
Mhm.
have moderation, everything just truthfully goes to shit. Like,
Yep.
if you take substances, like if you smoke weed and you're smoking weed every single day, you're going to get to a point where you don't really want to do anything else except smoke weed.
Mhm.
If you're doing your homework and then it's like 10 o'clock, you're ready to go to bed, you just had to smoke up, that's fine. That's rewarding yourself. But when you fall out of those reward patterns, it really takes an effect on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that reward thing is a big part of it too,
There's
because it's like
yeah.
if you're just like, I don't know, that's there's a lot to be said about that. Like if you're just rewarding yourself constantly with anything, like even if you're just relaxing, like watching TV or something, like you got to use that as a reward, because otherwise, if you just have all the rewards all the time, like you're not going to be happy. That's why like a lot of people say like money doesn't bring happiness, because just having all that money is basically just like, oh, I can have anything in the world. Like I can constantly reward myself.
It's the whole thing with dopamine, and we could go on and on with all this. And honestly, I think we should save it for a sort of drug type episode.
For sure. Yeah,
We have so much experiences, and we can bring on someone else who has experiences with that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to put it out there though, but I actually do have depression, and I have been told that the dopamine levels in my brain are not where they're supposed to be at before, and I have been put on antidepressants, although they haven't really worked. And I can tell you for a fact that me using weed as heavily as I did totally had an effect on me. You know, I don't really know if that'll like be a big thing developing, but I really hope not. But you know, constantly being high for a long period of time is not a good thing in any sense, really.
Yeah, I'm in the same position as you, man. Not with the depression thing, but with the, you know, constantly being high and stuff. It definitely doesn't positively affect you. I can tell you that much. You know, like it might temporarily, but not in the long run.
Hell yeah. So, how should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, dude, we kind of fucking
that
took a left turn there, but I think it's good.
So Luke, how would you say overall your 2020 went? What was your highest moment and your lowest moment?
That's tough. Cause it was kind of split between like from January to August I was in a relationship, but I feel like I was actually worse like mentally than I am now. But not, I mean, like, so it was kind of weird. It was kind of like it started off good, I guess. I don't know. I won't say good because like I said, I've already explained that earlier, but yeah, once that ended, like it was kind of like holy shit, you know what I mean? Like I got to get my shit together. So like August through like November was kind of rough, but December, I'm gonna say this, I ended it off on a good note. I'll just say that.
Joey?
My bad. You know, I truly had a pretty bad 2020, but I feel like being able to keep some aspirations and goals in mind really did help me push through it, and I'm glad that I realized that having goals in mind really will take you anywhere.
Well said.
Yeah, and 2021 is gonna be a good year. I'm just saying it like that. You know,
yeah.
like we can't expect it to be perfect. We can't expect it to be like amazing, but we can expect it to be good, and we can make it a good year. You know what I mean? It's all about your mentality. So
let's make it a good year, boys.
Hell yeah. I totally don't think that we should dread on 2020 though, because you know, that's in the past now. We don't gotta worry about it.
Yeah.
We survived it.
Push towards a better future for everybody, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, from here on out.
Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed this pilot episode of the Eager Podcast. We'll be back with more. If you guys are interested, hit that subscribe button, the notifications bell, the like button, whatever the fuck you want to hit. And we will be back soon. Thank you.
Leave a comment. We like criticism.
Yeah, we love it.